So excited to see everybody at the fourth edition of the Zambia Impact Investment Summit. You're welcome here. Since inception in 2019, the National Advisory Board for Impact Investment, Zambia, has served as a platform for cross-sector collaboration, fostering an environment where investors, entrepreneurs, and policymakers can come together to progress Zambia's impact investment agenda. Over the past years, through convening platforms like this summit, NABII has successfully facilitated the unlocking of over $44 million for local high-impact enterprises. This achievement reflects the power of collaboration within the ecosystem, and I'm confident that this 2024 will continue to build on this momentum.
This theme for me, and I'm sure for a number of us here, reflects the vital role that all of us in here need to play in shaping a more resilient, inclusive, and sustainable economy for our nation.
As we stand at crossroads of our development journey, we are reminded that our choices we make today will shape the future for generations to come.
Investment can help the private sector and is critical for the private sector to grow and thrive here, but only the private sector here can help create the kind of jobs, livelihoods, and create the overall economic prosperity and economic growth.
We have recently convened some of the most important development finance institutions and impact investors to look again at the critical issue of how we improve access to finance for small companies, micro businesses that we know are high impact players in many economies across the so-called developing world, and the job creators in most economies across the world. They still struggle to access finance, and we are looking again, bringing parties together to look at a fresh approach to that challenge, inspired by some of the innovation that we've seen, not least coming out of our national partner in Zambia.
There's a growing trend of partnerships among impact investors, governments, and non-profit organizations. By leveraging resources and expertise, these collaborative efforts are creating more significant impact than individual actors alone. The fourth and final trend I'd like to emphasize is really enhanced impact measurement. As the demand for accountability increases, more sophisticated methodologies for measuring social and environmental impact are being adopted. This helps investors assess effectiveness of their investments and communicate their values to their stakeholders effectively. Now, having said all of this, and despite this promising growth, impact investing in Africa faces several challenges. And I'm sure many of you in this room are very much aware of these challenges.
So one of the key challenges we have had is finding those bankable projects to tap into this resource. So with the design that you are helping to come up with, it is our expectation that will endear us well to be able to access those resources.
I know you said initially the cake, but what's the size of the cake?
I see. For now, I think what we have as board approved is 5 billion kwacha.
5 billion kwacha,
That's correct.
which is just under $200 million.
What is a small business growth initiative trying to achieve?
It arises from, I think, something which has been very well known, that is the lack of access to affordable financing.
We're talking about small, growth-oriented businesses that can drive economic inclusion, as Laxon has mentioned. So that is the fundamental thesis behind it.
The conference is also one of the platforms that we're using to sensitize the market, the local impact investment ecosystem, on on our work streams and also what initiatives we are working on.
You will agree with me that as of 2023, according to the Global Impact Investment Alliance report,
pension funds constituted about 51% of global assets under management. So what that means already is the power that pension funds have in directing the direction in which the investment landscape should move.
So, like a small and medium enterprise who was pitching here, my objective was to raise funds for my project. My project is about recyclable waste collection. So, I think I'm in the right place in the sense that this conference is very much focused on environmental sustainability and social also impact on the community.
Investing in young people should not be seen as an act of generosity.
Thank you. Please say that again.
Yes, so it should not be seen as an act of generosity, but to view young people as people that will contribute positively to the development of this nation.
What is lacking in the ecosystem and what is lacking in terms of growing the private sector through entrepreneurship is the lack of funding to demonstrate viability of innovative ideas provided by entrepreneurs.
Expectations have been met knowing that SMEs were, part of the conversations, and we've been given a seat at the table as young people. So yeah, I think KPIs going forward, our action points, and how we're going to collaborate as the ecosystem.
I think it's important for small, medium-sized enterprises to participate in conversations that introduce them to capital allocators or investors, people who've got the money, but also you've got a number of people who are building responsible businesses, people who actually care, entrepreneurs who actually care about the countries they live in, who care about the work that they're doing and the impact that it has on society or the impact that it has on environment, and also want to make sure that they're building scalable, growing enterprises that have the right foundation towards the growth. So being in a place like this, they get to hear what the standards are, what they could be looking for. But more importantly, they get to be heard. They get to be heard by the people who are either creating policy, and also get to be heard by the people who are making the investment decisions, by then interacting and learning what they are going through in building their businesses and making sure that there's a place where they meet and get things right.
Gentlemen, we have been discussing digital technology and the use of AI in agricultural sustainability. My name is Joshua Chela, coming from Solidaridad.
As we have more AI, we can leverage AI so that a simple set of questions can be used to identify a disease, as opposed to having to use a photo to identify a disease. So I think there's an opportunity there in terms of the interface that's used to communicate with small scale farmers.
If we're looking for partnerships, also I think based on the conversations that we've had here, we've mostly focused on crop agriculture, but we also can use AI in animal husbandry, and fishery and other places that are also part of agriculture.
Because when you go to the Green Bond guidelines, it really first and foremost spells out the criteria of what you need to meet for it to be termed or classified as a green bond. So be looking at the proceeds, and then there's certain steps that you need to take before your green bond issuance can actually be approved by the SEC.
I'm not here to talk about EDGE, but to talk about some of the USAID EDGE pivots that we made this year around ensuring that our programming could be a bit more attuned to the climate change realities of Zambia.
There's really been a fundamental shift in terms of the focus on climate change. Obviously, it's always been something that's been a part of the agenda and in the background at all of these conferences, but it seems to have been pushed to the forefront in a very, very big way.
Due to the current drought that we're facing,
we, with the support of EDGE, started this program that focuses on 70 producer groups.
When a project like EDGE or others begin to think about winding down, you need to start to think about the gems that you're sitting on programmatically and start to ship them out to the wider community and ecosystem to make sure that they continue.
We have amazing SMEs today that are pitching.
I had a chance to chat with my panelists before our session, but we don't want people working in silos. So we need to find a way to collaborate and come together so we're speaking one language and ultimately benefiting the entrepreneurs who need support in form of financing. What are the primary challenges businesses in Zambia face when seeking finance and growth support from your respective institutions?
The main challenge that SMEs face in accessing finance is the lack of collateral. And it's one of the parameters, obviously, as a financial services provider, we do look for collateral as we're lending out to various SMEs.
If you think that our 5-year government bond currently yields around 23% in Zambia, that's a pretty high hurdle rate for an SME to come in at.
You might have a business on a specific sector that actually require a specific type of investment or type of instrument, but then you won't have that diversity for them to be able to actually go for it.
SMEs are looking for financial solutions in the wrong places. A startup cannot be financed by a large commercial bank. That's just the reality of it.
Some of that is what you'll recognize as traditional grants that we can give to businesses that we work with to help improve their capacity or to improve or enhance their development impact. But also some of it is upstream, early stage assistance, working with governments in the policy environment.
So my question is, why do you think startups fail, so many startups fail in the first 5 years or in that first initial phase?
You know, having an idea that you can provide a solution, that's not enough for you to just say you can go out there in the market and survive. You need, you know, someone, especially in the early stage, to handhold you.
Yeah.
I personally want founders to fail more. Not that we must willingly force them to fail, but if we create an environment where failure is celebrated, networks where they can learn from each other, we have seen that those that have started the second, third, fourth businesses succeed.
Well, my key takeaways from the summit is that when you network, you discover that there are actually organizations that are in the same space that you are in and are available for collaboration, and also you would learn new things about your business that you actually didn't even know existed.
This was great. I ask that the experiences we have in the next year bring us to deeper conversations, but deeper actions where we build the country that we want to have. Thank you.
Very happy because there have been a lot of highlights being brought out in terms of the funds that are available to go into the agricultural sector. I feel this is a plus for our smallholder farmers, but also for our organization coming from agriculture.
Impact investing is a key driver to growth in Zambia, and we just need to exploit it and go all the way.